Good evening, grave robbers, and welcome back to the television graveyard. We are your TV necromancers, Laura Prince and Noah Houlihan. We have come here tonight to examine the spirits of past television shows to find out which ones could be resurrected, should be resurrected, and which ones should stay doomed. This is a podcast in which we'll analyze the history, the hype, and the aftermath of shows that ran only one season or only one episode. With me, as always, is TV's Noah Houlihan.
Chihuahua.
We are doing the 2012 pilot to Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Beverly Hill Chihuahuas.
Yes.
Plural. In our quest to do every one season or less talking dog show, here we are watching Beverly Hills Chihuahuas.
Yes, this was a show that was made for Disney Junior.
Okay.
It was intended for Disney Junior. It did not get picked up.
Yeah, don't say.
It was made in 2012.
Okay.
And definitely has that early 2010s Flash cartoon look.
Yes, it bothers me, this type of animation. I don't know why, but the way Flash animation kind of works is instead of like cell animation, where you draw the cell in one position and then the next cell, everything slightly moves. Mm-hmm. You kind of have like layers. So you could just like move the eyeball layer and then that's the only thing that moves. And like everything can kind of be on hinges. And then anytime that they're not on hinges, it looks weird.
Yes.
Like if I'm walking profile, that'll look a certain way. But then the act of like turning and being like face to camera and then turning the other way will always look a little chunky.
Yeah, it reminds me very much of that generally. It reminds me of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
It reminds me very much of like Newgrounds to me, where like someone will fall, but instead of the body being in motion, the body will be still and completely rotating. Like none of the limbs are moving. It's just like a still picture that spins. Stuff like that appears in this.
So, the first thing we get is obviously a title sequence.
I don't know how close I am, but I feel like I'm exactly what the song was.
The theme song reminds me a little bit of Angry Beavers.
Yes!
Because I think I've been around the house singing that.
Yes.
Because I did not retain the melody of Beverly Hills Chihuahua, but my lizard brain went, this takes place after the movie.
Is this canonical to the movie? Believe it or not, I've never seen Beverly Hills Chihuahua 1 or 2.
Based on what I can glean, I've not seen it either. Chloe, who is the girl dog.
Yes, the girl Chihuahua.
Is rescued by a, like, scrappy, poorer dog who is Poppy. Who is the other dog.
Okay.
And I am gathering that at the end, Poppy goes and lives with the wealthy family, and that's how this starts. He is very much living with Chloe and her people.
I really hope we get comments of people upset that we spoiled the film. It's like, oh, I thought you were just going to talk about the show. I was going to watch Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2 tomorrow.
Spoilers for a 17-year-old movie. What is the statute of limitations for spoilers?
I think it's 18 years.
Oh. Snape killed Dumbledore.
Goodness me. So, after this very long theme song, we get this kind of like establishing of who each of these characters are.
Yes.
You have Chloe, who's like this pretty dog.
Yeah, she's kind of spoiled.
Yes.
She has a maid who is a chameleon named Rosie.
Yes, who's the best character in this cartoon.
And her person is a fashion designer.
Yes. And there's also Poppy, who is like...
Chloe's boyfriend?
Yeah, like, they're two dogs that live together. And he's more... Like they kind of have a little bit of a Lady and the Tramp feel. In
yes.
that he's, like, a bit dirtier. And, like, he talks about, like... She talks about, like, perfumes. And he talks about, like, rolling in the grass. Like a dog. They are then summoned by their human to meet Sigmund.
Sigmund? My Amazonian princess! I am so happy to be seeing you are safe. Not that you shouldn't be safe, for there's no one trying to birdnap you.
Yes, because Sigmund is a photographer who is going to be taking pictures of their owner's fashion collection with this beautiful bird named Esperanza.
Yes.
And Esperanza cannot be troubled because if she's afraid, her feathers will fall out.
Yes.
But Sigmund warns the dogs and the owner that there is a bird napper after her.
Not just any bird napper, though. As they're discussing this bird napper, he arrives in, like, a hovercraft, all to capture this one bird.
Yes. Now, there is the very important thing in the establishing scene.
Yes.
Is that Chloe is trying to decide on what scarf she wants to wear.
Mm-hmm.
And she's set up with Rosie with pink. And she goes, I don't know, maybe lilac. And Rosie goes to get it, and then she goes, no, you know what? The pink looks good. Put these away, and dumps a bunch of them on Rosie.
Yes.
So kind of establishing Rosie as being like her put-upon assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Sigmund mentions smelling grass, and Poppy goes,
Gracias, dude. Is backyard lawn number 5.
Yes.
which is a solid joke for a kid's show.
Yeah. It should be noted that the rules of this world are the animals talk to one another, but bark to humans.
Yes.
So, one of those shows.
And so their human kind of has Poppy and Chloe, like, mind Esperanza and keep her happy. And Esperanza is a brat.
Yes.
She's rude to Chloe, and she goes, I want flowers. And Poppy's like, I'll get you roses. And Chloe goes, we have the nicest pink roses. And they go to get them. And then Esperanza goes, maybe lilacs. And I was like, oh, wow, that's hitting the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
There, Miss Chloe. A nice coral pink.
Ooh, let's try lilac.
Or maybe lilac.
You'll have my personal attention. Now Poppy will get those flowers and I... Pink! Pink roses, I think. Oh, we have some lovely pink
No, let's try lilacs.
Which is, like, kind of good writing for a kid's...
Yes.
It was kind of pretty good writing for a Disney Junior show.
I was decently surprised by, like, the messaging of this show.
And there's a Phineas and Ferb-esque montage of the burglar trying to get in and being thwarted by the security systems.
Yes.
As the two dogs wait on Esperanza hand and foot.
Yes.
And I noticed at this point that a lot of the footage that we saw in the introduction is from this montage.
Oh, of course.
It's like Poppy trying to peel a grape, and them, like, balancing a tray, and, like, all these little action shots that fit into the introduction.
So after the montage, Chloe's, like, sitting with her paws in water because she's tired.
Yes.
Boy, are her humans barking. That's a joke I wrote. That's not from the show.
Well, she says, I'm waiting on someone hand and foot, or in this case, wing and claw.
Yes.
So they actually do make a version of that joke.
Yeah. And Poppy is, like, has to peel the grapes and has gotten really good at it now and does it kind of easily. And there's this kind of talk of, like, any job worth doing is worth doing well.
Yeah.
And it, like, there's all of a sudden this, like, message about taking pride in your work.
Because Rosie kind of is like, I always take pride in my work.
that is not what I thought the message of Beverly Hills Chihuahua was going to be. It's a great message for a kid's show. I was just surprised that it was like a show about like the glamorous Beverly Hills with the message like work hard, take pride in what you do.
Yeah. So, the catnapper gets in. The bird napper cannot find Esperanza, but manages to lock Poppy and Chloe into a closet.
Yes.
Where they are for a stunning 30 seconds.
Yes.
Before Rosie gets them out. Mm-hmm. And there is this very, kids cartoon thing of they throw Esperanza into the mud.
Yes.
To hide her. And throw a bunch of flowers over her, and they're like, shh, lay back, relax.
Yeah, it's a mud bath.
They can't scare her because her feathers will fall out.
Yes.
So they have to pretend everything's fine.
While still foiling this bird thief.
But Esperanza is so comfortable, she rings her little, come here servant bell. Mm-hmm. And the bird napper sees her, and because there's mud in her ears, I guess that's how birds work, she can't hear the bird napper coming.
Yes. So they... I forget exactly how they foil this burglar, but he has like a remote control cage that he ends up locking himself in.
So what ends up happening is Chloe doesn't bark, usually.
Right.
Chloe is
That's right. I have a note about this because it's super weird.
Yeah, Chloe's like a sweet little dog who doesn't bark. And she has a zen, Kung Fu Panda-esque moment.
Yes.
Where she's told to embrace her bark and bark so loudly it sonic booms the burglar into his own cage.
Go ahead, Chloe. Use your bark. Tiny is mighty.
Embrace that which makes you mighty, Chloe. We are Chihuahuas. Hear us roar.
Yeah, all of a sudden there's this mystic legend, what was that Jackie Chan show? The Jackie Chan Mysteries? Or
The Adventures of Jackie Chan?
Yeah, I think it might just be that. Where all of a sudden there's a talisman behind her.
Jackie Chan Adventures.
There's a talisman behind her and spirits of some kind are speaking and then she can super bark, which is very odd to come out of nowhere.
So she super barks him into the cage. But because all this happened, and then they mention oh my God, good thing we stopped that bird napper. And Esperanza goes, bird napper, and panics and molts all her feathers.
Loses all of her feathers.
So
Chihuahua.
So they're like, we can fix this. We just need some feathers. And Poppy's like, I got it. And he rips up a pillow. And then Rosie and Chloe have a little heart-to-heart where Chloe apologizes for being so rude to Rosie and using her the way she does. And Rosie forgives Chloe.
Yeah. And says, we're friends, yay.
So Sigmund now shows up at the house to photograph what we think is going to be a bald Esperanza, who's instead resplendently white.
Yes.
Because she's filled with the down feathers from the pillow.
Yes. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't know birds could do that.
And, Poppy and Chloe have a big wink to camera. And it ends on a snapshot of the dogs Esperanza and Rosie.
Yes.
And that is the whole pilot. It didn't go to series. No one has the exact reason. It's been credited all over the place, including by people who worked on the show, as timing issues.
Okay, that makes sense. They couldn't get it to release along with the film or close enough to the film or, other things were debuting, so they couldn't get a time slot. Yeah,
this is pre-streaming, so there might have just been too many other shows running at the time or something that was greenlit and fast-passed ahead of Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I don't have the exact details.
Mm-hmm.
A blog from Genevieve Tsai, who worked on the show. She is a character designer. She says timing issues, and that's kind of the accepted reasoning.
Yeah.
Nobody really has anything more than that online. This is a little quiet. This isn't really this isn't really a super well-known pilot. It was lost media for a significant amount of time.
So I have a little thing that I caught that I want to bring up real quick. There's a bit of an error in this show.
Yeah?
When Chloe is painting Esmeralda's nails, she's like, oh, thank you so much for doing it. And she says something like, yes, you were right. Finding the nail polish that matches your eyes was a really good idea. She's painting her nails pink. The bird's eyes are blue.
Yes, and she says, like, I mixed something pink and, like, dangerous pink and glamorous mango. And she goes, ooh, dangerous mango.
Yeah, like, they talk a lot about the color for it to be very clearly wrong.
And, yeah, so that is a correct note. I didn't have that in my notes, but I do remember that part.
Yeah, that was the only thing that I really spotted in this. I did have a note of, like, who is this for, like, first or second graders? And you said it was for Disney Junior. So, yeah.
Which would put it solidly in, like, the early school age, the Bluey demographic.
Yeah. It's just very much, like, it's not for me. But as a show, like, for kids teaching, like, little life lessons while having some, like, fun shenanigans that a kid would laugh at, it's successful in all those things.
I mean, Disney making a cartoon about dogs that teach life lessons, it'll never catch on.
Right? The Chihuahua!
I thought about Bluey, and I actually just checked what year Bluey debuted.
Yeah.
To be like, Bluey didn't
Did
accidentally
Bluey kill this show?
No, Bluey comes out a full 6 years later.
Okay. Yeah, these dogs are far too round. If they were more rectangular, I think I would enjoy
Yes,
them.
I require a square dog.
Yes. But yeah, that's kind of just the show. I don't have anything else to add about the show. Do you?
No, I kind of like, there isn't much about it. Like I said, it was lost media for a time. It resurfaced as so many things did. It started to resurface in 2020. And then in 2024, a few things from Disney were posted online. There may have been some sort of leak from the Disney TV animation company. Mm-hmm. And a number of these pilots and what have you came online.
Oh.
Including Beverly Hills Chihuahuas. So this has only been online for about a year.
Okay.
So what's your verdict?
My verdict for me is a stay doomed.
Really?
There's really nothing wrong with this. There's just also nothing special about this. Like, it does all the things it sets out to do. It's a cartoon about talking chihuahuas that teaches lessons and has some fun shenanigans. But if you put this on my desk along with, like, 8 or 9 other pilots, there's nothing memorable about this other than the fact that it's already attached to an IP. And it's an IP that's kind of already a joke. Like, when I try to think about Beverly Hills Chihuahua, believe it or not, I think about Gilbert Gottfried.
Okay.
There was a bit on the Colbert Report where Stephen Colbert and Gilbert Gottfried have an argument. And at the end of it, Stephen goes, all right, fine. We still on for Saturday? And Gilbert Gottfried says, yeah, Beverly Hills Chihuahua, I can't wait. And that's just my relationship with this IP. So, to me, like, again, there's nothing really wrong with it. There's just nothing great with it. It's just so not anything. And, like, for that reason, I couldn't... There's nothing in this that made me be like, oh, I hope they make more.
I would actually give this a stay tuned.
Yeah?
I think compared to some children's shows, the fact that this had like a little lesson about not using your friends and being nice to other people and kind of almost a lesson about privilege.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a really nice little lesson for a kid show. It's a show that has a male protagonist and a female protagonist, which I feel like is something we don't get quite enough of. Mm-hmm. I feel like shows are either painted as girl shows or boy shows.
Right.
And it's nice to see a show that has a deuteragonist in that situation.
Yeah.
So I would call this a stay tuned. I'm not the main audience for it. Like, I don't know that if this ran 6 seasons in a movie, I'd watch it. Mm-hmm. But I also wouldn't be upset if my niece or nephew did.
Yeah, I wouldn't be upset. Like, if I was, like, less cranky today, it might have been a stay tuned. It's just, you know, it was on that edge of just like, The edge of
I liked it. I thought it was cute. Stay tuned.
All right.
I think this is a very rare, I say stay tuned, you say stay tuned.
It's very rare that we split, that we differ.
It's rare that we split, and when we do split, I think it's very rare that I stay tuned.
Yeah. So
I think we are in the rarest of outcomes today.
I think so.
Of a Laura stay tuned and a Noah stay doomed.
Yeah.
What are we doing next week, Noah?
Well, this was a short episode, so I have a few other bits of business.
Oh, business.
I have a stay doomed correction.
Oh, no.
It was sent in to us after we discussed New York Goes to Work, where I said, hey, it seemed to me like something that New York said is very similar to what Bailey said during her heel run. I was then corrected by Mighty Mo that Bailey got that catchphrase from a Cardi B song and not New York.
Can we prove that Cardi B did not get it from New York?
I cannot.
I got a similar text from Mighty Mo with the Stallionaire song on Spotify saying, do I listen to this or am I a fake fan?
So that has been a Stay Doomed correction. I also have a dog police update.
No.
I said that I would vow to find out who played the dog police in that pilot. I have an update.
Okay.
I have reached out to Adam Sandler asking who played the dog police, and I'm excited to say that he has yet to respond. And that is a dog police update. Dog police.
Oh my god.
So that's going to do it for Stay Tuned. We stretched another minute and a half out of the show there. We haven't picked what we're doing next week. It'll probably be another pilot because we's be busy.
Yes, we are just currently in a busier season with other performing. So we will be doing some shorter episodes. We are looking for our next longer term show, but we haven't settled on anything yet.
Yeah, we have a few ideas, but nothing dead set yet. But thank you so much for listening to this episode of Stay Doomed. If you want to talk to us more, be sure to join our Discord. It is in the links down below. And if you don't want to talk to us there, where can people find us?
You can email us at thestaydoomedshow@gmail.com or on Blue Sky at Stay Doomed.
And if you care that the nail polish is the same color as your eyes, I am at TV's Noah on Instagram and Blue Sky.
If you are surprisingly forgiving toward children's cartoons, more so than your podcast partner, I'm Laura Crane at Blue Sky. Until then, stay doomed.